Welcome to Media Makers Spotlight from Women in Film and Video in Washington, D.C. We bring you conversations with industry professionals for behind the screens, insight, and inspiration.
Zhanna Ozirna, a Ukrainian filmmaker, actually speaking us from Ukraine right now. Her first feature film, the English-speaking title is called Honeymoon, premiered at the 81st Venice Film Festival, and that's actually where we met. It's about a newlywed couple who move into their apartment in a town in Ukraine, and one morning they wake up to massive explosions and learn that Russia has attacked Ukraine. For the next week, the couple stay in their apartment with no electricity or water and face crucial existential questions under mortal danger. Zhanna, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So first, what inspired this specific story to tell, Honeymoon?
Yeah, the story actually is the story of the friend of my friend. I actually I read it in the news right after the occupation of Kyiv region and Kyiv region. It happened in early April 2022, first year of the war. And I came back home to my native village, which is actually in Kyiv region, very close to the line of occupation. And I read a lot of news. I read a lot of stories about my neighbors, like people who were are living very close to me. And it was one of the article that really stuck in my head, I would say like that, because these people, they were living in a kind of an apartment on the second floor with a window into the inner yard. So they could see that in the inner yard they could see Russians, and Russians actually could see them. So they are hiding, pretending there is nobody there in the apartment, and they are kind of crawling on their floors all 7 days during this period of hiding. So it just like this image stuck in my head because it's hard to imagine, it's hard to believe in, especially in the kind of modern times that you are could happen in such situations. So and then I found this guy who was a hero of the story, and originally it was about the family. It was the family of 7 members. Also, they had a cat, they had even small rabbit. So it was just like the whole family. We talked twice. I visited his apartment to understand the location, how it was looking like. And then it was also accidentally, I just researched this topic, all the stories, and found another story which is very similar to this one, but it was the family of 3, mother, father, and daughter. And I talked to the daughter, and she's a very clever woman. She's actually model of Vogue, and she has a PhD in culturology, so she's really bright woman. And she also was in this situation, very, very similar, also somehow on the second floor, also hiding for some days. So I just kind of mixed these 2 stories and also added, I reduced a little bit this story to the couple, made this apartment kind of very new apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have any furniture, something like that. So to play with all of this, to have the possibility to play with it. And obviously I put something from my war experience and first days of the war.
It was really well done because it's less than 90 minutes. But when we left the theater, we were like, that was only 90 minutes? That felt so much longer in a weirdly good way because we felt like you're stuck in the apartment. You don't leave the apartment. because they don't leave the apartment. And yeah, they have these conversations. They're crawling on the floor. And it's a master class and master film of sound. You only hear, you don't see anything. You see their reactions. You don't see the explosions. You hear the explosions. You hear any gunshots, but you don't see anyone die. That kind of thing. So we were always like, and when I was reading, I'm like, that was a week. They were there for a week. So I was like, I'm going to talk to her about that. So, and so when you heard about that, was that based off of these real stories that for the most part, it took about a week for them till they figured out what to do? Or was that just another reason? Why did it take about a week for you to tell the story? Like, keep it there.
It was week in original story, but in my film it was 5 days. Like we call it day zero, kind of the evening before the war, and 5 days after the war started. The reason was actually in the storyline itself, because I wanted to explore different things each day, and to kind of to make this degree of intensity high with every day, and each day is happening differently. I know that you cannot really distinguish during the film, but it's okay, because like I did it in the script. So kind of in the script, everything is kind of very well settled. So you can have this feeling that everything is going on kind of smoothly, but the intensity going up. So for example, first they are kind of confused. They just don't know what to do. Like different people are calling, asking you something. You just don't know where to go, what to do, how to hide, and etc. So the second day when Russians come, they kind of also confused, but it's kind of plus it's big fear, and also they all start to crawl, so it's different physical appearance of the characters. The middle part of the film is more about because they are cut off from any information outside. They don't have electricity, mobile connection, so they cannot read the news. I did it to have the possibility to concentrate on their own relationship among them, and also to have this development of each line. So she has these doubts about, because she is an artist, and she has these doubts that probably her activity before the full-scale invasion is useless right now, and he has this issue with his Russian father. Yes, and they have like some common issue about I don't know, future children and etc. And then like step by step, like next day they hear some very scary sounds, and like I don't know to spoil, but yes, some, I don't know, shooting, and yeah, they hear also how their neighbor was killed. So I mean, like it was just like each day I had one turning point.
Yeah.
And I tried to develop everything, all the storyline around this turning point. So just like that.
What I also appreciated about it is I think a lot of people all over the world, unfortunately, many countries and many people can unfortunately relate to it. My family comes from Iran, and they went through the Iranian Revolution, and Iran's not doing well right now. And so when I was watching it, I could sort of sense that going on, and other people going through, so many different countries are going through it. So you didn't have to be Ukrainian. We did have a few viewers who are from Ukraine, they were tearing up the whole film because it's so close. But you just knew, I mean, so many people can relate to this. Like, there's that first part where they're like, I don't want to leave my home. This is my home. And then as the time progresses, they're like, well, should we leave? But can we leave now? Is it safe to leave? And as they were like, well, then they hear something in their neighbors, and then they hear gunshots, and they're like, okay, maybe it's not safe to leave right now. And then, but then what do you do? And then you just start talking, and the talking could turn into arguments and all sorts of, it was so relatable because you're just human. And what do you do? It was so well done. And the acting is so well, because it really had to go with these two actors. That's all we really see through 99% of the film. And
that's true.
They did such a good job. And we briefly spoke during the film festival, but you kind of shared that sometimes they didn't get along necessarily, and that you found ways to use their competitiveness to get that chemistry that would be like a husband and a wife, newlyweds, not as actors who are like, oh, you're annoying me so much, right? So could you kind of share a little bit more of that, and as kind of advice for directors, for future directors, on like, how do you kind of, for lack of a better word, manipulate the situation so you can get the kind of chemistry and relationship you want to be portrayed on screen? Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, it makes sense. Yeah, first of all, I want to share this experience of casting itself, because right now in Ukraine it's pretty hard, to be honest, because like a lot of male actors at the front line, and many female actors, they actually went abroad, so the casting was really hard from that point. And from another point, it was also very important to find kind of pretty equal actors, because Roman, the actor, he's pretty famous in Ukraine. He did a couple of really big roles before, and he is very confident about himself. And it was really pretty hard to find the actress, so she will be kind of on the same level with him. I'm not talking even about the talent, but like about the energy and confidence as well. When I found Ira, she was working usually as as an actor's coach before, and this is her like well, it's her first big role, I mean. But when I saw them together, it was very just interesting to watch them, how they behave, how they both, they are both professionals and ambitious people. Like, and it's very interesting combination. And sometimes when we started the rehearsal, they offered me some things on the script, like how to change the scene, how to change the behavior. And then sometimes I felt that they see their characters a little bit different, kind of more close that they are to their own human nature, and it's, I think, like this is my first film, so I was really afraid, to be honest, to make some mistakes because of the lack of experience. And my first decision, like before the shooting, was like to believe, to trust my own intuition. Because the team around me, like most people, are kind of more experienced than me. But this is my film, and let's say I'm the only person who knows how this film should be like. And I decided that I will hear all the offers from actors, how they feel inside the scene, but the last decision will be on me. And I tried not to push on them, just like to watch how they are reacting, how they are behaving, and just like to lead them a little very very light, because they have very strong personality, and I was afraid like to push too hard on them. So we had this period to adjust to each other, like to understand who we are. Because me personally, I am like more calm person, and they are very, energetic. So we need this time like to understand how our this energy combination will work. And yes, at some moment, it was a very emotional turning point in terms of the development of their character, because I felt that they were a little bit afraid, because their characters are kind of at some moments confused and weak,
Right.
So especially Guy, but I did it intentionally, because when I did interview with my with the guy who is the reference of this story, the real guy, I asked him about the behavior of his father inside the situation, and he told me that he has never seen his father so helpless before. So inside the occupation, from if I would if I will switch on this kind of cynical mode, I will tell that the most interesting, yes, part of research in this story is the feeling of not even fear but helplessness,
Right.
especially for men, because you can do nothing, literally. You cannot even speak. That's why I did this. My main character, he is a psychotherapist, because the psychotherapist is a person who used to solve the situations with help of the words, yes, with help of the talking with people, yes. But this is the situation that you are kind of caged, and you cannot do your job properly. And it's very very interesting, this feeling of helplessness for me, and it really hurts me as a person, because it's my people, yes, it's Ukrainians, and we are like feeling it almost actually every day. But when you are inside the war, and you are kind of doing the film about the war inside the war, um, you kind of want to see brave people and etc., and to see kind of proper heroes. So to do such story was to be challenging a little bit for Ukraine, because I didn't know the reaction of Ukrainians, because we are so hurt right now from everyday bombing and every day like killing our people that by Russians. So I don't know the reactions, So maybe it's not because it was a big ethical question for me. Maybe it's not the proper time to explore some like weaknesses of our situation. Yeah, but that's why we had this talk, really long talk with my actors about their characters, why we are doing it, because actually the art of cinema is one of the rare platform to have this possibility to explore such fragile topics, because you cannot do it very very, like, I don't know, in public, really, because it's maybe not the appropriate platform. But art, it is,
And I think you can't really have them understand it as well as we were able to, because we had about 90 minutes to really feel, however small, like we felt like we were like I said, we were like, that was only 90 minutes. But we felt like it was longer because we were stuck in these walls of the apartment and stuff. If you're having a conversation with someone, you're like, well, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just, you're half Russian. Why didn't you just talk to them about being half Russian? You can't really understand that. And so art, like you said, does have that ability to make us understand and relate to it that other ways maybe not so much. How has been the reception from your fellow Ukrainians? Did they understand that, or?
Yeah, we actually had like couple of days. We had our first. It was a closed screening at the Kyiv Critics Week, and in a week we will have official Ukrainian premiere at Venice Film Festival. So yeah, previously it was very warm screening. To be honest, I didn't expect people like it so much. I think like. Um, Somehow subconsciously everybody wanted to see something like that, because what is interesting, that Ukraine right now, like not just right now but since the beginning of the full scale invasion, is a chain of news, and we are images in this news. It's kind of bombed villages or old ladies, crying and etc. And I know that, like, I would say bubble I'm living in is totally different. So it's a kind of uh, I would say normal European life. We have exhibitions with, I don't know, drink good coffee. We have, like, I don't know, concerts, especially right now, not obviously the first days of the war, but before the full scale invasion, sometimes like Europeans come to Ukraine and they really surprised that we are so kind of developed country. We are like look good, and this is what I wanted also to show, because sometimes when you have all these images from the news in your head, you have you have this image that Ukraine is like that, like villages, ruined buildings everywhere, and just, I don't know, older people or senior people that are crying, something like that. But I know other Ukraine, and my Ukraine is very smart and intelligent and pro-European, and we are talking about very interesting things at our parties, and I just wanted to recreate it, like that we are really can, I don't know, talk about theater performances, French philosophers, and this is our normal life.
Yeah.
So, and it was for me the way of how we can connect to Europe, as well, to the West world in general, because right now, sadly, we are really kind of depends on the support of West world, especially regarding the weapon transfer. So, and I heard this about feedback. Yes, I heard some feedbacks from critics from Finland, from like different European countries. They told me that they see that this is kind of people like ours, and it was one of my intention to show that we are not so far. Because I know that before the full-scale invasion, Ukraine was kind of terra incognita a little bit. We don't know what is country, because for many people, like Europe ended on the border of Poland, and then it's something like Russia and something around Russia. It was a little bit act of cultural diplomacy from my side.
Well, it was great. And also for me, I was like, that is a nice apartment.
Yeah. It's a little bit like my apartment. It's bigger with this glass wall,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit like mine. My taste.
You also, is my understanding that you were able to make this film also because you had there's a special program part of the Venice Film Festival that you sort of won. Can you explain what that was? Was like what this program was and how you got the funding?
Yeah, sure. Like in general, there is a Biennale, like a label, yes, Biennale. It has like contemporary art exhibition every year, yes. Uh, Film festival, like it's like an umbrella. Biennale is like an umbrella, yes, that takes care about different fields of art. And in almost in each of these fields, they have some um, kind of programs that support emerging young artists. Inside this film section, they have this program called Biennale Cinema College. And every year they have open call, you can submit, but it is especially for low budget projects. Okay, for us it's low budget. For Venice, it's micro budget because it's like 200,000 euro. It's like filmmakers know that it's really a small amount of money, but it gives you actually a lot of freedom to create something different, I would say. So the submission is all from all over the world. So in the first list, it was a long list out of 12. So people were from everywhere, from Australia to projects from USA, from Hungary. So it's like from all over the world. They make a list from 12, and you go for a first workshop with all these 12 projects. And we had 10 days of development, really like intense talking from different sides, from storyline side, from producing, how to produce. And the administrators of this program, they are watching you and try to understand, do you have this kind of inner ability to fulfill this project, to really implement all your ideas within the frames of this small amount of money. And then you go home and you write your script during 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks, and you have to write. And I was so afraid because of all this pressure that I didn't write the script during first 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
I just like sit. Yes, I just sit and like, oh my god, what to do? And then but I think I was just like thinking, I had this like moment just to sit and think, because sometimes it is how the writing of the script looks like. You are just sitting and that's it. And then like last week, I wrote the whole script, I sent, and like in maybe 10 days, we got this answer that we got selected, as well as like 3 others. So in general, it was 4 projects that got this 200,000 euros. And so we got this news on November. We started to shoot in March, and first days of September, we already had the premiere at Venice Film Festival. So it was very, very fast. It's like express filmmaking.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And could you, do you know what the name of that program is called?
Yeah, it's called Biennale Cinema College.
Okay, Biennale Cinema College. How can we learn more about your film? Is there a website, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we have an Instagram page and Facebook page, but also we will soon have the first international premiere, except Venice. We will have in Saloniki Film Festival, and also in Greece, and also in Arras Film Festival. It's in France, and I'm going like in 10 days abroad to present my film. We will have this, I hope, good festival trip with the film. And then we will see. I don't know. I actually want somehow to my actors to go also to festival to present the film, because I think they are the core of the story. Yeah, but we don't have a website, but we have really a good Instagram and Facebook page, and we actually posted this morning the photos from Ukrainian premiere.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you wanted to share that we haven't touched on?
No, I just really want to thank you for your attention. Really, it just like, I just feel that Ukrainian voice. I know that people really a little bit tired of all this news feed, but still the war is going on. It's still here. I'm still living in it, and I really appreciate when people start to explore Ukraine and try to understand Ukraine more through art.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for making this story, and I think hopefully the war will be over soon. But regardless, this is a timeless story. Again, I could relate to it. I think many people, especially for an international film festival, we had people from Philippines and Nigeria and Bolivia and all over the world, and everyone could kind of have a sense of, they're like, we know somebody who's been through it. Unfortunately. And so you don't really have, and being told in this way. So we found it really powerful. And so thank you for coming to share what inspired it. And thank you. And so, yeah, we'll share the links to the Instagram and the Facebook, and hopefully we can see it again.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Media Maker Spotlight from Women in Film and Video. To learn more about WIF, visit F as in Frank, V as in Victor.org. This podcast is created by Sandra Abrams, Candace Block, Brandon Ferry, Tara Jabbari, and Jerry Reinhardt, and edited by Michelle Kim and Inez Perez, with audio production and mix by Steve Lack Audio. Subscribe to continue learning from more amazing media makers. Please visit MediaMakerSpotlight.com for more information.